Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 30 of the FPV podcast. Today, we're going to get a chance to speak to Gab707. I first met him at the Megadrone X, and he was with Ryan Walker, and he was part of the team Ready Made RC. And he was definitely one of the fastest pilots there, so I definitely wanted to get him on and talk about what it's like flying in Canada. And also, he's been working on a bunch of cool stuff, so we'll be getting into some of that. So, Gab, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
All right. Well, first of all, thanks a lot for having me here today. It's really cool talking to you. So introduce myself. My name's Gabriel Kocher, also known as Gab707. Um, I guess I've been flying FPV for almost 2 years now, and racing a bit less than a year now, and it's great fun. It's great fun. Just before, I'm going to plug my sponsors.
Okay.
So my main sponsor is Ready Made RC. I've been with them for almost 6 months now. We're sort of revamping the sponsorship. Right now we have some new sponsors. Teeny Jones is one of our new sponsors. FPV Quads Canada and Autobotics are my main sponsors. And yeah.
Okay, cool. Now, sponsors are important, especially if you want to keep flying. So,
They're very important. This is a really crucial part of FPV. I mean, for being a pilot in anything, right, is about sponsorship.
yep. So you said you've been flying for 2 years. So how did you get into it? What did you start in RC? How did you get into RC? Yeah, just go ahead.
I haven't really been doing RC stuff before. I used to have like a petrol car or a gas car.
Yep.
The Americans like to call it. We drove that thing around a bit. That was all right. It didn't work too well, so I wasn't very happy with it. The FPV really came along with the videos. I really got probably one of my biggest inspirations were the Team Black Sheep videos of their wings, like diving down cliffs and mountains and doing long range FPV. But I felt the wings weren't. You couldn't do that many things with the wing, and you needed a car to get around, right?
Right.
So that's where I got into mini quads, so Sharpoo flying, and thought, hey, this looks like my deal. I can go fly in parks right outside my house. So I basically started. I didn't think this was ever going to work, so I just ordered stuff really cheap, like wherever I could find them. So it was like a bunch of plates that I got, and then these wooden sticks that I just sort of glued, strapped together, zip tied, whatnot. And these, it didn't have any FPV on it. It sort of, and I was amazed. Like a week later, I had something that flew. That was just crazy. And then, like 2 weeks later, I just put my GoPro on. And I felt like I could probably carry the GoPro now. I was really scared on putting my most precious, camera on there.
Yeah. Hey, they're expensive.
Right. It was frustrating not seeing what was on there. I just needed FPV, and it's been going from there. The racing really happened in Montreal. Is it with the Jones Montreal? I hadn't met anyone before. I was just flying by myself and turned up there. They had a race, and that's where I met Ryan. We've been teammates ever since. Actually, we've been flying almost every week since then. And since then, I met a lot of people, and it's been an incredible ride.
Yeah. No. Hey, you know what? Getting a sponsor like Ready Made RC definitely means that you put in the time. By the way, just for the viewers who don't know, he's actually in Switzerland right now, and I'm kind of jealous, to be honest with you. But so in between visiting family in Switzerland and being in Canada, he's definitely our most well-traveled person that we've had on the podcast. So you mentioned that like you met Ryan. So did you just kind of hit it off and said, "Hey, let's start a racing team," or like how did that like go about? It's like
I mean, racing, flying these things around is about fun, and that's all it ever was. I mean, Ryan back then had sort of wooden tricopter too. I had just made the step to like a carbon frame, and I was trying to encourage him to do something made out of carbon, and then we sort of sat down. We were just having fun. We designed a wooden quad. He's actually the only one who built it. He actually cut it. I sort of laid out a little design, and then he went out and cut it out. He built, I think, two of them, and we had like big sessions, and we just smashed them one after the other. So that was no good. Yeah, it just went from there, just having fun, going flying. That's what it's about.
okay.
And then later on, I mean, once we actually got into the racing, people realize, hey, we're doing a relatively good job. And I guess that's where we sort of complement each other and as a team, you know. We go to races. For now, I guess I tend to be a bit faster than Ryan, but he's just much better at talking to people. Ryan will just walk into a place. If there's 10 people in a room, Ryan will walk in and make 10 friends.
Yes,
So
I know exactly what you're talking about. The guys.
How do you do that? So I'll have more of the racing, and he'll have more, talking to people and getting. He's really, I guess, the one who made us really getting sponsors. I mean, and since then we've really evolved a lot as a team and as pilots, as persons, and we're now really starting to see what sponsorship is all about, right? It's not about getting parts. It's about working. It's actually something that takes time and that takes work, and it takes out of you. You say we do testing, we say advice, we get results. I guess people want to see their gear well placed. We do videos for people, and it's also about image, right? A brand wants decent people representing them. So you are representing a brand, and you want to be knowledgeable of all that, and show. It's about working with a company. It's about a lot of things.
No, I mean that's kind of important, and it kind of shows the evolution of this, because when we all get started, we're just all happy that things fly and that we can repair things and things move. And now we're getting to the point where things are pretty durable. And now what people want is to continue to improve upon the product. And to do that, you need testers like yourself, and you need to push the product. And I mean, by push, I mean try to actually get it to its limit to see if it can actually perform at such a high level. As say,
and that's one of the big things we do.
Yeah.
We test, frames. Because try this, see if you can break it. 1 week later, hey, here it's broken. How did you break it? Well, it took that kind of configuration, and it just smashed. Okay. Well, here's this battery. What do you think about it? Oh, okay. Well, we ran it full blast for 2 minutes. Hey, it puffed. So it's probably not a good one. or this one held that much longer. This one's better. Or that's the type of stuff that we tend to do.
Yeah. So, Ready Made RC, are they really getting into the quad racing? Is that what you've noticed with your sponsor, that they're actually starting to come out with stuff more dedicated towards what you're doing?
I think they've always been there really in the quad racing. I mean, they have everything, right? Everything you'd ever wanted for a quad, for wings, for whatnot. They've got it all. And I mean, for wings, for quads, they've got good frames, they've got good motors, and they sell usually the top of the line gear that you can get. They just have these flight controllers, these dodos that a lot of people tend to use now. I've been using them for a while, actually, before I was even with Ready Made RC, and they're just awesome. I mean, they make, for example, a racer very easy to build, because they've got a lot of components that you don't need to put somewhere else on the board, like a 5-volt output that you really don't get. But I think they're really on this racing thing. I mean, I guess we had our team Ready Made RC at the Mega Drone X, and winning that. And then now we're up to Drone Nationals as a team Ready Made RC, and we're really hoping big for that. We're practicing and working on tricks, techniques, and working on the gear.
Okay, so let's get into like some of the actual, like, I've seen you at the Mega Drone X, and I've seen you fly there. You are by far one of the if you should definitely go check out Gab's channel. What is your channel, Gab? Your YouTube channel?
It's just Gab707, Gab707 on YouTube.
Right. You should definitely head over there and check out some of his videos, because he's got one of the smoothest flying styles that I actually see out there. There's a lot of people that are smooth during freestyle. He's actually smooth while racing, and that's actually kind of not very common, because most people are really violent with their movement. So, like, how did you train to do that? I mean, have you seen other people's flying videos? Because, like, if you look at Beast Mode, right, that also flew at same race, right? You had two different flying styles, same speed, but like two entirely different flying styles. So how did you arrive at yours? It just happened?
People ask me that. I think maybe, I'm just a failed wing pilot. I told you I got inspired by wings, and I wanted to fly down mountains, and a wing doesn't just jerk around all around. I can't do that. Um, so there may be some of that, but I guess one of the major things is I used to race go-karts when I was younger. So sort of, finding the race line was is always a big thing when you're racing cars. It's about pushing them as fast as you can, but it's very rarely Yankee, and it's very rarely aggressive because you can't do that. There's inertia of the whole car moving.
Right.
And now, unfortunately, well, fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know, with quads you can actually just yank them and throw them about however you want. It's just put the rates a bit higher on your remote, and you can do that. But I really stuck the philosophy of racing cars because I think, getting the right line is what's gonna, in the end, get you faster, right?
Wait.
It's not about, yeah, you can go straight for a corner, just yank the thing around and go full blast the other way. Yeah, sure. But the best way will be on the racing line. You you can take that faster. If you can manage that, you can master that, you're probably gonna be faster on there. So
Well,
to really get that smooth style, I mean, that's why I have the smooth style. I want to be on the racing line as smooth as possible.
I
No
think,
loss of energy, right?
yeah, I think actually, like I've watched the Detroit Multirotor Race. It was the last lap of that race, and where you made up literally three spots was actually at the
Yeah, yeah.
hairpin, and that,
Crazy.
yeah, that's actually like where like the racing line and understanding your momentum and how to shift it really helped you because like literally you were the fastest through the hairpin because you were the smoothest. You actually didn't lose any speed. You just whipped around that corner. You gained like three spots, and then that's what carried you to second place basically. And like that's actually something that I think a lot of people that I don't know that I guess don't have a background in maybe cars or wings that they don't understand is that you can get around a hairpin and really not lose too much momentum. And I saw that in the last lap. I was like, wow, that was really good.
It actually took me a long time to dial that track down at the Megatron X. I mean, I guess we didn't have that much practice, but it's always like that at FPV events. You just turn up and you get like minimal practice, and then that's it, go for it. So, and I guess racing with all these amazing pilots that we had down there was a great experience, and that gets on your nerves. You're starting to feel it, and you don't want to crash because if you crash out there, it's all these rocks, right? You just probably end up smashing something, so you don't want to crash. And these hoops, wow, the what did Joe call that? The tunnel of love.
Yeah,
That
he
was
called it. It was more like the tunnel of death. I saw so many quads die there.
every time I aim for that thing, I would just pray, "Lord, I don't want to crash in there." And probably those like during that the Detroit multi-rotor challenge. So the first laps went relatively fine. Somewhere in the middle, I lost concentration. There's one lap I'm just going back and forth, and I saw Eric Harmonic just
Hmm.
overtook me at some point. So I was running, I guess fourth by that time. And then I just decided, oh shit, somebody just overtook me. Now it's happening. Now I need to put the pedal to the metal, and I need to do it now. This is the last chance, and I just went full speed, full stick, and just managed to hit the line. I was very lucky on the hairpin, went straight for it, and I think I overtook two of them. Just like one just the turn just before, and then beast mode just in the hairpin, and then I just made it to second. I was very happy about that, but
No,
at
that
the end,
was. Go ahead. Keep going. Uh,
I really didn't know where I finished. I guess that's
well,
FPV Racing, right? You just see dots in the sky, right? You have no idea if you're first, you're second, third, fourth. At the end, I thought I was fourth. I mean, yeah,
at the end, because we were so far behind, we just didn't really have time to look back, which kind of sucks for you. I apologize for that, but
sorry.
I'm glad that we got all that DVR footage and we got a chance to see that because I actually enjoy the DVR footage and I'm a little bit of a nerd. I actually go back and rewatch as many of those as I can because watching each pro pilot fly and then seeing the differences is actually kind of amazing. Because you're Harmonic, you're kind of the same, except Harmonic does like to whip his quad a little bit more, whereas you definitely like to flow around the entire track. But
But
that
sorry.
yeah, I mean that leads to like the next point. It's like I mean, you've been to several big races now. Like, how is it that you prepare to actually? Because, like you said, you don't get much practice time. You show up and you just gotta go because everybody shows up and they're all going. And when you get to these big competitions, everybody's good. So, like, do
Yeah.
you have a strategy, or do you just kind of just try to learn it as quickly as you can, just speed up?
It's actually something I tried to start working on. I mean, just turn up into a park, and every time you have to make a different track. Fly it until you're comfortable with it, and just try to go as fast as you can, just straight off. And I feel that practice has sort of helped a bit. It's not just about. I mean, usually I tend to really fly on the track until I really dial it down,
Mm-hmm.
because this is what racing lines are about to me. It's I mean it's like car racing. Car racing, you don't turn up and just go 2 minutes on the track and that's it. You're racing. You have hours, you have days. You've got several days of practice ahead of you. You can work and all that stuff, but FPV racing doesn't have that luxury yet.
Nope.
So until we get the technology right, I guess. I mean, that I'm really hoping that's something's gonna change that. But yeah, specifically start practicing. Just turn up to a park, fly, find a track. Define it. Walk around. Don't just fly around and then figure out something. Just walk around the park. Figure this is turn 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going through over the tree, under the thing, through that hoop. Boom, that's the track. And then you just try to do 4 or 5 batteries one after the other, and just try to get it down as quickly as possible.
It's
Because that's a
true.
skill.
That actually, like, how many batteries do you go through a day usually for you to keep, just to keep your skill set
And
up?
honestly, not a lot. I don't really fly as much as I like to. So like my typical thing that I do is I grab like 5 batteries and I go for 5 batteries. So it takes me half an hour. I could come back from work and then just go out, do 5 batteries, come back. It takes half an hour. But I do like a session like that maybe once or twice max in the week, and then we'll fly maybe once in the weekend, where we'll have maybe 30 batteries, something like that.
30 batteries a week? You said?
Yeah, on the
Damn.
weekend, yeah.
Gab, you're a
So
prodigy. I see people like turning out like 100 batteries a week trying to get as good.
I don't know about that. You might
Hey,
want to look out for the kids before you start talking about prodigies.
dude, yeah,
You want
you
to talk
got.
about Luke Bannister? You want to talk about all these young kids coming out? They've just started, less than us, right? They've just not even a year, and now look at them now. Wow.
But you gotta admit, like those type of kids, they kind of push you, right? They're like, if they can do it, I can do it, right? Is that
I don't know. I was just we were talking about this with the other guys, and they were saying, yeah, we just need to like do a junior class and older people class. This is
the
this is
senior
getting out of
class?
hand. Wow. But I don't know. Maybe it comes down to that. I don't know. Are you just younger? Are you just faster in your hands? Is it something that just happens faster, or is it a skill that you learn? Is it more video games? Did I not play enough video games in my youth? I don't know. What am I missing?
Hey, you're still fast. So let's talk about the Montreal Expo because that was a pretty big thing that you just got back from, and that qualified you for Drone Nationals and Drone Worlds, right? Am I correct on that?
We qualified for the North American Cup, the IDRA North American Cup, which is sometime in January 2017. There's not much info posted on that, so it's sort of this thing out there for now. And for the Drone Worlds.
Okay, cool.
Um, so we
So
were very, very, very happy with that.
yeah,
We,
so
we
for
qualified.
Worlds, would you qualify for individuals or for a team?
It's for individuals. I think if I understand correctly, the team you just need to register somehow.
Uh,
So we're actually working on that. We're now building Team Canada.
mm-hmm.
We've got like the 3 best in the West, the 3 best in the East, and we're building this big racing team. Everybody's going out to Drone World.
Oh,
That's gonna be awesome.
oh, hey, that sounds fun. Hey, that sounds cool. So, like, tell me, like, the involvement in Drone Worlds because, like, you're the one that designed the track. Is what the word on the street is. Is that right?
Yeah, it is. They told me, yeah, so we're making this thing in a stadium, and I was like, oh wow, crazy, crazy stadium. So I went and looked at Google Maps, this 3D rendering. Wow, this thing looked, and I designed this crazy track. It was going like through the stands, like through the like you had the whole bend to it, like
Yeah.
like we had in at the F3 Expo in Atlanta. We had
Right.
like sort of a curved turn, and then it would go through chicanes and up and down the stands and crazy things, until they told me, "Hey, Gab, yeah, we need to block. You only have half the field." No. Because it's actually it's an expo, right? So a core of guys in Montreal from FPV Montreal, three guys, Nick, Jason, and Matt. They really came down together and made this thing happen. They dealt with the sponsors, found the venue, found all the legal aspects that we needed to take care of, the insurances and all that stuff. They really did an amazing job just setting up the event, talking to IDRA. They had already the qualifier just set up for us. And then we just came in and basically made the technical part happen for that event. And yeah, the track was really something cool. I wanted to have all the sort of symbolic things that we have in Montreal. So we're in this football stadium, right? So we had to have a gate that went through the football goal.
Right.
That had to be there. It's a football field. You need to have something that represents that. And also we're in Montreal, and what is Montreal known for? It's mountain, the Mont Royal, right? So we actually had the climb into the stands. So I
Okay.
don't think that's
Okay.
been seen in any other race, but we really had like this technical track where we're going around the thing, and then there's like a tight chicane through a gate, a multi-GP gate, and then you go full blast up the hill, and then there's a flag at the top, and then you just come full blast up and down. So this is just a symbolic thing, for Montreal, and all these things that came together to make, I think, a really cool track. I mean, most of the people who've flown it really enjoyed it. I'm very happy about that. It's a track that's, as I was saying, easy to fly slowly, but very hard to go fast
Hey, that's
because you
a
actually need to brake. You come into turn, and there are these really hard chicanes, and then there's a gate, so you actually have to brake down and then do the turn.
right.
You usually don't see that in mini quad tracks. So.
That's true. Yeah. Like I understand what you're saying because like there's not too many tracks where it asks you to slow down, which is kind of sad now that I think about it. Never thought
But
about
it's
that way.
very hard.
It
Unfortunately, it's very hard with a mini quad because if you tilt up, well,
it's
there's
like
no
okay,
reference,
yeah. It's like
no
where the
visual cue.
yeah. It's like where'd the gate go? But I actually really like the fly up to the stands and the fly down to the stands, and it's like oh that's a really cool idea, and that's actually like the elevation change is actually pretty high because you're in the football stadiums and those things they go up really steeply if you've ever been into a football
Yeah,
stadium. So that's actually really cool. I would think though like going down would be much harder than going up because like going up you can just throttle through that, but going down that's a little bit of more of throttle management and trying not
yeah,
to hit the hit.
yeah. And there's the gate at the end, so you're just staring at the gate, thinking, "Whoa, whoa, easy, easy." And the last moment, oh, you give it some punch because that's actually one of the also hardest part is you have to come down, you have to go through that gate, and then immediately after there's like a chicane that goes back up into the football thing, and then like swirls around. So that was pretty cool. But actually, one of the fun things we had these guys from England, dronesimulation.co.uk. They actually built us a replica of the track in their simulator.
Oh yeah.
So that came out like 2 weeks before the event. So a lot of people were practicing on that. I mean, I didn't have that. We were just completely overwhelmed. I just installed it and played it for 20, 30 minutes and just, this felt horrible because when you're not used to simulators, they just feel weird.
Right.
Uh, I saw how the track went, but that was pretty much it. And some of the guys, just they got to the event, they just started banging out the laps immediately, and that was really fun to see. And now we've got like once the event's done, we're actually doing like an online thing. There's an online competition on there, and there you can actually go and back on the track and see the lines, how you can improve them, what could you have changed during that time. So it's actually very informative. I mean, now I'm flying it on the simulator. I'm seeing all the shortcuts, but better lines, better racing lines I could have used during the race, which
Too late.
I
Too.
just didn't know. So
That's actually an interesting point, and we might actually get there. Right? Is that you really don't have time to practice, so if you release it in a simulator, that kind of can mimic at least some practice time, and at least let you learn the track. It's actually an interesting idea. It might come down to that because like most events, they're on the weekends, and you gotta, that's the only time people are free. You gotta go through that entire event either in one day or 2 days, and that's it. Was the Montreal race 1 or 2 days?
It was just one day. It was for us. It was very very hard. I mean, we turned up at 6:30. There we were there ready with the stuff at 7. Was it 7:30? They opened the gates. We just ran in, set everything up. We wait. This is interesting. We got there in. We by the time we had set up everything, some things didn't work. Some things we had to resolder. Anyway, we ran half
Yeah,
an hour late at the start. Very happy. We were very happy about that because we only had like 1.5 hours to set the whole thing up, and
that's
we made it
hard.
in 2 hours. It was like, wow. Anyway, so we started. We did the first round of qualifying, and then we realized, hey, we caught up already. We caught up our our half an hour delay because everything just went smooth, and our Pat, our race director, did he was just pushing people. We had two guys commentating, and two race directors. Well, one main race director and one assistant race director who was dealing with the transponders and things like that. And they were owning the show. I mean, they were just banging out the heats one after the other, and we caught up time. And then by the end of the event, we actually caught up 2 hours, 2 full hours.
Wow, that
We were
never
2 hours
happens.
early.
That never
No, never
happens.
in an FPV event does that happen.
It does not happen. It's like everybody there must knew what they were doing because that just never happens. It's like, what channel am I on? Where's your iLap? Is it working? Is the sensor working? It's like, ah.
We actually made this differently. The other guys were panicking at the beginning when we were like organizing the event. We're like, oh, we want to host like 60 pilots or something. It's never going to happen. It's going to run late. We only have the stadium officially like from 10 to 10 sort of thing.
Right.
Then like by 11 we had to be out of there. That's it. They're locking it. We cannot be there anymore. So the event had to be done on time, and there were just no questions about that. So what we basically did is we got all the pilots the frequencies beforehand. So
Right.
they got the day like 5 days before or something. Once we had finalized all the registrations, I drew up all the flying groups and get everybody to the channel. We had six people running at a time. We selected six like channels. They were not the usual channels because I wanted to make sure we had good video. Because there's like even on the race band channels, there's some channels which sort of have some crosstalk and they have like harmonics interfering. So I selected like six channels that are like give and take from the different bands. People were preset with the right antennas with the right channel. Basically, you turned up the registration desk, and there was a guy there with the goggles, and you just okay, are you ready to register? Okay, fine, plug your quad in. Let's see you on the right channel. Check the right channel. You good? Okay, next. And that was basically the registration.
Oh, okay.
Once we knew everybody was on the right channel, all they just had to do was just plug in the transponder and go, right? And
That's
that I think made it go really really fast, honestly.
that's
None of this stuff. Typical FPV event. You turn up to a race, everybody plugs in. I have no video. Are you on the right channel? Did you turn the thing on your goggles? Did you plug the thing?
did you break it when you were practicing? Did you?
So yeah, so if we had everybody on the right channels, they just turn up, plugged in. Okay, we know you're on the right channel now. You do not need to power up anymore, right, to change your channels or
Mhm.
whatnot during a race. We know your quad works. You just plug it in when you're ready to go. And then that's it. That made it run really smooth. And then basically, we hosted our two qualifiers. And then what we did after that, we did like a little showdown race with all the pilots at the very end, all the best pilots. We grouped them together and had like another extra showdown race and some demos and
Hey,
had
cool.
fun.
No, it sounds like a lot of fun. So, are you guys planning on doing this again next year, or is it already in the books to do it again?
We haven't spoken with the other guys yet, but
You hope
I
so.
think it's most likely going to happen again. I mean, the guys at McGill were very happy about the way they said we were very professional about we built the track and how we built the event and everything was spot on. We cleaned up after ourselves, so I think they'd be happy to have us again. Well, I can't speak for them again, but you know,
Hey,
I
yeah,
think they were pretty happy about how we dealt with the event, how it was organized. So there's a good chance we'll be doing it, maybe there, maybe somewhere else. But
yeah,
yeah.
cool. Hey, you know what? I hope you guys do it again. Because like if you do it again, I might show up just to rib you guys. No, actually, I would like to go up.
Is Megadrone X happening again?
I
That's
have no
that's one of
clue.
these big questions that's been around these days, huh?
Well, like, so Frank is the one that's going to be heading that up. So if it happens again, he's the one to go talk to. I actually have another event that I'm working on. So like, there will be some big racing events going on around here. Just, but I don't have the insight on the Megadrone X, so I can't give you any tips.
Oh, cool. Hey, well, let us know. We'll come down probably.
Hey, I'm glad you guys traveled because you guys are crazy. Because I saw the videos of you guys traveling back. That
It
looked
was horrible.
horrible.
It was
for,
horrible.
for the people who didn't know, we ran late. They had to leave. The flight was canceled. Was that it? Was it
Yeah, the
canceled?
flight canceled. It was the last flight of the day.
Yeah. So you
Uh,
decided to, instead of missing a day's work, I guess you decided to rent a car to drive all the way up and then take a flight. Is that how it worked?
Yeah, so Ryan absolutely had to be at work on Monday morning. So it was basically like can you reroute us, with any other flight was our question. And the guys were like, yeah, we can send you over Chicago to Washington from there, like 4 stops or something ridiculous like that. And you'll be there tomorrow at 3 in the afternoon. No, tomorrow morning. We need to be there tomorrow morning. Do you understand that? And yeah, it just boiled down to we just got half the ticket reimbursed, and then with that we rented a car and then just drove all the way back to Montreal. It was like an 18-hour drive, something like that, which we pulled like in one shot.
That's
But that was really
crazy. That
intense.
is crazy.
I honestly I don't know if it was a good idea, just in retrospect, but
I'm surprised you
especially there was
guys.
also a huge storm, right? Because the flights were canceled because of a huge storm.
It was. I saw the video of that huge storm. You're like, okay, you guys shouldn't be driving in that.
Yeah, yeah. I was sleeping next to Ryan. Ryan was driving. I was sleeping, and then suddenly I woke up, and you couldn't see out the window. There's so much water, and he just recalled how I started talking in Swiss German, which is one of the languages I speak, and I started speaking in German. I was just not waking up. I
Yeah.
just started freaking out. What's going on? Until I realized, hey, wait a minute, I'm here.
That's funny. Like
So,
Ryan on the ride back, he was actually pretty comical in a very dry sort of way because it was kind of funny watching him record you. You were like out, you were passed out, and like by the time I saw you guys at the very end of that video, you guys were like zombies. I was like
yeah.
even did you actually show up and do any productive work on Monday?
I didn't. I just went to bed and slept all day. That was pretty much my day. But Ryan actually went. I mean, he has people to boss around, and I guess just turned up, gave it the instructions, and then yeah, did his best to survive the rest of the day.
Um, yeah, I'm sorry, but he probably had to take like 2 days to recover from that fully because that sounded
Yeah,
terrible.
it took me probably 2 3 days, but I do a PhD in physics, so I manage my time as I want. So I can take one day off and then but work twice more after. So
Okay, well that's good, but yeah, hey, I'm glad you guys made it down, but you guys were crazy. That's all I'm saying.
it
Uh,
better not be like that again if we turn up.
well, yeah. I kind of feel sad that you guys were missed the finals because I'm sure you guys would have probably placed, but yeah, it's tough. We just ran so late. Sorry about that. But it happens. You know, no, in a lot of big races, yeah, you just run late, and we just couldn't help it. So,
Yeah, it happens. It's
so
nothing.
any, yep. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, no, I was
Yeah.
just saying things go like that. There's nothing we can do about it. Okay.
Yep. So, is there any other besides the North American Drone Nationals, or just I think it's just Drone Nationals for us? Is there any other big events that you're planning or going to?
Well, there's the Drone Worlds. We're going to Drone Nationals. There's the NA Cup
The NA Cup.
next year. Right now, I'm actually in Switzerland, and I tried to contact a few of the pilots around here, and they told me, "Hey, we're going to this event next weekend. It's the Italian Drone Nationals." So I just registered like last minute, and I'm gonna see how it turns out there. Basically in Europe they also do their own nationals, but then there's a Euro Cup too. So I think if you win the nationals, you get to go to the Euro Cup and to Drone World too. I'm not too familiar about how IDRA are like dispatching all the qualifiers for all the international races. So,
That's
but
actually kind of cool.
yeah, gonna be probably going to that.
That sounds really cool. You could like in Europe, you can make it to like seven drone for nationals because you just basically get on a train. You could be there in a day.
Yeah, yeah, probably. I guess it. I mean, the drone nationals always have like different, I guess, rules that the organizers can decide if only the locals get to qualify for stuff,
Oh,
right?
okay, I got you.
Because I mean, both theories make sense, right? You want to, if you're a pilot, you want to make it to a maximum of qualifiers because you want to qualify, say, for drone world. So if you miss the one in Austria, well, you go to the one in France, right? Or you go to the one in Switzerland or whatever. Okay. But also, if you have locals and they, typically only get a chance, people who aren't pro pilots and who
Aren't
can't really
sponsored.
afford to
Yeah.
drive that far or go that far to go to a race, you want to make sure that they get a full chance, right? And if there's you're qualifying in one country and there's all these other pro pilots coming from somewhere else and they all turn up with their shiny quads and their sponsored gear and they just turn up and destroy everybody.
Yeah, that kind of
It makes
hurts.
sense both ways, right?
Yeah. Well, I would hope that, like, even if you don't get a qualifier spot, but you can still race just to get some stick time in, right? Because, like, still,
Yeah.
like, yeah, I think you can attest to this, right? Is that, especially when you're racing, is that, like, your level of competition kind of dictates how quickly you grow because you see how good everybody else around you, and it kind of forces you to be faster, right? Because like if you're at the top of like wherever you are, it's kind of hard to grow faster at the top end. But if your competition keeps pushing you, you grow faster. That's what I see. I don't know if you agree with that or not.
Well, definitely. I mean, like for example, next week I'm just going for fun because honestly, I'm like the Montreal event just took a lot of energy out of me, just organizing it, like setting it up, and f actually flying competitively in it just drained my batteries, to be honest. So this one, I have three. I brought three quads. Only one of them is working at the moment. Everything just smashed. I went into the trees. I smashed two of them, and I said, "Oh." I just tried to solder stuff back together, but I don't know how serious I'm going to be about it. Racing takes a lot out of you, but stick time is important. And as you say, going out there is with people is very important. But I see it more as just go and talk with people, right? Chat, meet new people, make new friends. That's what this hobby is about. It's about going out with friends and having fun. And this is no matter where I'm going. I don't know where I'm going with this. We'll see in a year. But wherever it goes, it has to be about fun at the end of the day. That's what this hobby is about. Now, see pilots somewhere else. I mean, the internet makes the world a small place, right?
It
Like
does.
every time Night Fury in California bumps out a video of him flying through these tiny hoops like at full blast, everyone's like, "Whoa! Hey, I need to practice that too, right?" And then these other guys in the UK, they turn up with some crazy these crazy tracks like Gary Kemp. He's flying like a maniac around these nice tracks. Like, wow, I need to practice. So I'm not even sure sometimes that you actually need to see them. You just know they're doing better. You probably have to practice. So, but
See, it's that competitive spirit in you that makes you want to do better. So like, I mean, what's your philosophy on where this is going? I mean, do you see this like as eventually becoming like a full time job or something you want to dedicate like a career to, or is it just for you? It's like this is a weekend thing that I can do as long as I can represent my sponsors well and I'm competitive.
um, so I see this more on the long run. I'm really aiming this to be maybe a career. At the moment, I guess the market for it isn't very big. So at the moment, we're trying to get it itself to pay for itself, right? But you can't make a living really out of it yet. But if there's a shot for that, that's definitely something I think I want to do because, uh, right? That's what I was saying with sponsors. It's work and this is work, right?
Right.
Where I go fly that's fun. But then when you're doing something for a sponsor, it's something I take very seriously, and I think that's very important. That's the way things are going. There's no other way. So I think drone racing still has uh, some better days in front, better days than what we have at the moment. So things are going to get bigger and better, and once the technology really catches up, like we've heard a lot about HD systems and about running more quads than 8 at the time. about flying. It would just open so many doors, and if you had like proper, I don't know, trackers, for example, on the drone, you can have like race for a race, make something for a spectator, right? Things that aren't really spectator ready for now. They're getting there. People are working on that, but once that really hits the spot, we can actually start talking about money. That's not the case at the moment. At the moment, I mean, even though Dubai was a big thing, for example, and $1 million gets sent to everyone. It still doesn't make a pro circuit because it's only like the first couple of guys are already going to get enough money to actually sustain anything.
Right.
So if you want this thing to last and to become really a pro thing, it has to become a spectator sport. You need to have sponsors more involved, and yeah, spectators are, yeah.
It's hard to get spectators. I think you and I both know that, and it's one of the things that all of us are kind of working towards, and it's like we don't have an answer yet. That's for sure, because like it's something we all try to do. And actually, I was just just going around looking at the 4th of July sales. Is basically what I was doing, and I actually found a receiver. And the only reason why I stopped to look at it, it said 48 channels, because I got used to seeing 40 channels, right? Now this one said 48 channels. So I was like, wait a minute, where'd the extra 8 come from? So I actually went in and looked, and what they
Okay.
did is they added another 8 channels below race band. So they continued the race band channels, but
Okay.
lower. So like the race band channel with this receiver can actually get 16 quads in the air, provided that you can use every channel.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's like it's like, well, number one, there is a small issue with that, in that the lower frequencies are actually
Couple of
illegal
issues.
to use. But
Yes, totally illegal.
but
You're stepping on like military frequencies or whatnot. I'm
uh,
not sure you want to go out there.
let's just push that aside. It's kind of interesting, and so I was looking at these frequencies. It's like, oh, that's pretty cool. They continued the race band channels to the lower numbers, and then I was like, okay, let me try to find a video transmitter that can actually do that. There are none out there right now.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, you advertise something that nobody can use right now.
But was this like a Chinese
Yeah, it
company,
was.
I guess, or?
Yeah, it's like the like the FR602 or something like that. It's a very popular 40
Oh, okay.
40.
Yeah, yeah, that's a popular one.
Yeah, so like they made like an 800 series that now advertises like 48 channels. You can find it on Banggood, but
It's interesting. But so they kept just the same spacing and they just kept on going there.
yeah, they just went down 8 channels, and I'm like, that's a good idea, but like I'm pretty sure we.
And there's issues with video channels. I've spent a lot of time messing with that, like for Jones Montreal mostly, and like race band channels are good because they keep a good spacing. But the problem is, for example, you get cross channel talk. So, for example, if you power up 1 and 2, it garbles out 6 and 7 because they have the harmonics, which I guess are, if I understand correctly, they're like receiver harmonics. I never really found a good source on that, but I read it off an interview of some of the guys at Immersion RC, and they were talking about that, the fact that the receivers apparently have these harmonics. I guess it's got something to do with the way you chop up the frequency spectrum, and then that way you just look at, you just want to be looking at this segment of, from your frequency plus 10 to minus 10, and then that creates like all these spurious things that what's going to be received from different places too, because your filters can't be that perfect.
Mhm.
And that filtering is basically why you get these cross-channel talks, and why we have all these issues with quads. You're seeing all these quads pair up together, and someone is saying, "Hey, I can see your OSD in my channel." Well, it's analog video, guys. It's there's only so much we can do. So actually selecting appropriate channels is surprisingly hard, and then I don't know if just slapping on more channels at the bottom, that's just going to create more harmonics and more noise across the whole spectrum. Like, assuming you have good receiver, you have really good antennas, for example. That's how Joe Scully's events work. He has really awesome receivers and these really good true RC antennas. With those, you can, even in a very noisy environment, it will just pick out the signal and you'll have awesome video, and everybody across the board is happy. But if you've got noise around, then things aren't perfect. But
It's
I don't
true,
know.
actually. It's very true. One of the thing, like I'm sure you've seen the ProSite HD stuff, and for me, when I look at that, I'm not really all that interested in the HD feed themselves. I'm actually interested in how they do digital, because what I want as as an event organizer and race director is being able to not have that crosstalk because it's digital, so that they can accurately filter out. If it's still low grade video, but I no longer have crosstalk across 8 channels because it's a digital signal now. That's all I really want. And I'm kind of hoping that's what the ProSite delivers. It's like you can just reduce from HD quality down to like standard video quality that we have right now, and then you just add on the layer of it's digital and nobody's going to step on your channel.
Yeah.
That's all I'm hoping for. And if we
Yeah.
can get that, I mean, events will run so much easier. But
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like the Pro side, the Connect system is supposed to have all these nice features. Like it actually selects another channel if it detects that one channel is busted because someone's powering up on it. It will just change the channel. So
I
there's all these nice things that they've built into this thing. I really hope it works. I mean, this would really be probably a game changer. And I
I
mean,
I hope
I've
so
never
too.
tested it myself. I'd like
Yeah.
to test it, but we'll have to wait until it
Yeah.
officially comes out.
The only problem is that like it literally adds $300 to your quad.
Yeah, yeah. I
Because
was
it's
just talking about flying in the mountains, right? If you ditch the quad somewhere up on a mountain, I'm not sure that
hey, you know
that
what?
300.
Yeah, so
But the
now
price is gonna come down, right? I mean,
it might not come down one piece though. If you, well,
yeah,
you
all
how
right.
how tall of a mountain were you skydiving down?
No, that was like 400 meters, something like that.
Four
It
hundred
was just the
meters, eight
craziest thing
hundred
I've ever
feet.
probably done in my life. I was just going up the thing, and my telemetry is going, oh, telemetry low. Okay, I can still keep on going. Oh, telemetry warning. Oh, that's usually the moment. Man. I just push it a bit more. I just made it past the tip, and then quickly turned the quad around and just dive the whole thing down. And it's just diving for 20 seconds. It was awesome.
Dude, 20 seconds of diving is a long ways down. 800 feet. That's gotta be no. Team
800
Flashing
feet, you
Pro.
think? 400 meters, 800 feet?
Yeah, it's about
Uh,
2.2, right? 2.2 a meter. I believe that's right. Somewhere around there.
American units, I just don't understand them.
Oh, come on! Don't
Meters,
make
meters.
fun of us. Don't make fun of us because we're weird. We are actually very weird. Still though, that's a long ways down. I got to go watch that video. That's a long way. You have that posted or is that?
It's not out yet. That one's coming out. That was just from today. I had a
Oh,
bit of a
okay.
sunburn today. Was out in the mountains. That was today.
Yeah.
And probably in like a day or two, I'll have some snippets out.
Okay. So
But
is Europe really like restrictive on flying? I don't know actually. I've never actually caught up on Europe.
it's slightly different. Um, but it depends a lot on the country, exactly where you are. Different countries have different regulations. I know, for example, in Switzerland, it's you can easily get an insurance for basically just RC hobby, and as long as, for example, your VTX is less than 225 milliwatts, you can basically fly on the 5.8 gigahertz. However, you're not legally allowed to fly FPV, or you would be, however, if you're by yourself. But you could have, you need to have someone who holds a buddy box next to you and is ready to intervene at any time.
Oh,
So that
okay.
it's as if you were flying something line of sight, but you're just flying through the goggles. Or if anything happens, the guy's line of sight next to you.
Okay.
I think that's the current like regulations that are in place. Honestly, I don't know them too well.
Okay, I was
I
just
guess
curious. That's all. It's like most of it nobody cares about, and most people don't even know the correct rulings to that. So it's usually not too much of a problem. I was just curious. That's all.
I mean, for FPV racing, I mean, even in people who insure, there's always a bit of an issue, right? I mean, we people understand that when you're doing a racing event, you're within the fence, you're flying in this region, nothing can go wrong, right? Oh, some things can go wrong. You hit something, you can yaw spin out of control, you can have a quad rolling into the spectators if you haven't put a fence or something. But if you've got netting or stuff like that, it's I'd say pretty safe. Well, very safe.
Yeah, most
Just put it
people.
that.
Yeah.
Nothing can go wrong. So people understand that you're still flying FPV, and technically you're not allowed to do it, but you're doing it in this sort of controlled environment, and that works. So
Yeah, I know. I mean, we in the U.S. we run into the same exact rules, and we kind of skirt the rules just like everywhere else because at the end of the day, I think most people are pretty reasonable about what you're trying to do, and if people are just trying to have fun. So Switzerland, is it cold there right now?
no, it's really warm actually. Pretty middle of the summer. We have big storms. That doesn't happen in Canada very often. We had a huge storm 2 days ago. It was just thunders and everything, and yeah, but now it's really nice and warm, sunny, shiny.
Okay,
20 degrees, 55.
that,
Pretty
that,
good.
that that's on my bucket list to actually go visit that place. When's a good time to actually go visit? Like in months.
Um, Summers all year round, honestly, to be honest. It's not like if you wanted to see Canada, well, I would say, well, if you don't like cold, you should definitely not come during the winter because it's going to get -20. But out here, it gets to, -5 at worst. So just cover up, and if you go into the mountains, you'll have snow, you'll have beautiful views all year round. You'll have
See,
in the summer, you'll have, yeah.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous. Uh, so like,
Switzerland is a beautiful place.
so how did you end up in Canada from Switzerland?
I actually ended up in Canada because we had decided to move to Canada with my girlfriend, and we were both aiming for PhDs, and she found a PhD in Montreal. So I sort of had to find something in Montreal too, and turns out I did find something in Montreal, and that was awesome. So that's how we ended up in Canada. So
So do you like Canada? Are you gonna stay in Canada once you graduate, or are you actually?
we're not too sure yet exactly what's going to happen, but we have probably another year or something, a bit more than a year to really decide. But we like it in Canada, honestly. Like Montreal is a beautiful town. It's got so much stuff going on. Like on the cultural side, you'll have concerts, like festivals all the time. It's a really beautiful city. It gets really cold in the winter, but it actually adds there's this, I don't know, atmosphere that you don't find anywhere else. Like you're in town and there's just so much snow everywhere and it's freezing cold and people are
You're not
outside
convincing me
and the
here.
festivals in the winter, you won't believe, they're out like on the port. They do a festival called the Igloo Fest, and there's like DJs and everything, and it's -20 and people are there like in their ski pants, and everybody's like walking around like gorillas. But everybody's having fun. Everybody's dancing outside, and they will spend the night outside having fun.
-20.
Where else in the world do people do that?
That's
I mean,
because
come
we're cold and we want to go back inside where it's warm. No, that's actually kind of that would be a fun sight to see. Actually, I'm not sure if I want to be the one out there. I'll just peek out of my window or something.
on.
So
There are a lot of events that are really awesome in Montreal. Makes it a very lively city.
that's cool. Yeah, another place that I guess I need to visit too. Like in Montreal, is there a lot of racing going on, FPV racing going on, or is it like you kind of had to hunt for your events or like go to one of the Joe Scully events?
Oh yeah, there's some racing. It's picking up. We have the FPV Montreal. I guess like all winter long we had a racing series. We had a go-kart track, and it was like a race every month or something, or every 2 weeks at best. We had like a fun fly and then a race like alternating every 2 weeks. That was great. We had this winter series. There's another race organizer called Multirotor Events. He's on the South Shore. He organizes them more in the field, sometimes in like courts, and he's also doing some really nice events. But yeah, so we've got racing coming.
Okay.
But usually when we want to really go for a big race, I mean, aside from the Montreal Drone Expo, which was like the big race we had in Montreal, there's not really nothing that big that brings everybody together and brings the whole community together. So that's why we ended up going to a lot of these Joe Scully races in Ontario.
That's a what? How far is that? How far away is that for you?
5 to 6 hours.
Yeah, you guys are
So
crazy.
usually the problem is he makes his races like there's Toronto. So getting to Toronto is what 5.5 hours, but then he makes him another hour the other way. That's But which is good for the Detroit guys, right? Because the Detroit guys will come from Detroit, and for them it's pretty close. So we got to hang out with them. That was really awesome. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, for us it would
Hey,
be awesome to have something, on our side, like for like Toronto, but northward.
but
But one of the latest ones was in Toronto. That was great.
yeah. So like, hey, you know what? That's your guys' job. You got to go create something that's more right to your locale. Well, actually, I guess that's what the Montreal race is, right? Do you guys run that, or is it another group?
No, it's we run that pretty much.
Okay. Yeah. No.
I guess
That's
FPV Montreal, as I'm saying, is like a core of like they're the same guys that organize the Drone Expo. They're the ones organizing also the sort of series, and I guess everybody helps out. We're mostly on the technical side, and they will deal more with the organization more general.
okay. Cool. So if like some Montreal people that are new that are listening, how do they get involved in that?
They get involved in it on the Facebook page. We've got a community page on Facebook called Drones Montreal. That's where everything happens. Yeah,
Just go ahead and get over there, join up, and just come to an event, and
yeah,
you're
that's
good.
pretty much it. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool. You know what? Hopefully that like you're like everywhere else, and that page is growing, and you get more people involved and stuff like that. Because it's always nice to see more people come in and enjoy themselves.
It's been growing like crazy. Like since the expo too, that gave it a nice little boost because a lot of people from Ontario and everybody realized hey, there's stuff going on in Montreal and a great place to be, and everyone came out and I think had a great time. So far, I haven't heard too many people unsatisfied.
Oh, that's
So big
awesome.
thumbs up for that. And
Hey, no, that's awesome. No, uh, I'm kind of out of things to talk about. Is there anything that you want to talk about?
um,
You
what
good?
to say? Where's Elvin?
Where's Elvin? I have no clue. He totally, I don't know. He's probably stuck somewhere where he is.
He's the
Uh,
regular.
he,
Right?
yeah. He's just gonna have to miss this week's. Oh well,
Oh
it
no.
happens. All right. So when are you actually getting back to Canada?
In another 2 weeks,
Another two
exactly.
weeks. That's awesome. Hey, you know what? Enjoy yourself over in Europe, as they say. Uh,
Thanks.
Besides, so I'll probably get a chance to actually see you guys at North American Cup, Joe Nationals, and so it'll be cool to catch up with you then. Are you going to be anywhere else outside of Canada before then?
I guess not. I mean, there's going to be the Italy Drone Nationals, which is happening in 1 week, and then I'm heading back to Canada. There's going to be, I think, 1 week or two, and then it's already time for the Drone Nationals, the official one in New York. So that's going to be that already. It's coming pretty fast.
Yeah, no,
I'm
it's
very
going to be fast.
excited.
Now, are you guys going to be representing Ready Made RC, or how's that going to work for you guys? Because I'm
Oh
pretty
yeah,
sure.
yeah, we're coming as a team Ready Made RC. I mean,
Oh,
thing is, we didn't get a chance to qualify for the individuals, and we thought we might make it to another qualifier event,
hmm.
but that ended up not happening. So, well, we're just going for the team race.
Oh, okay, I see. So, do you know who your other teammates are, or is that like Brady MRC hasn't told you yet?
Yeah, so there's going to be myself, there's going to be Ryan, there's going to be AJ Goin.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the big Ready Made RC pilots, and there's going to be the other Ryan Hart, and Steve Zumas.
Okay, so basically all the big dogs. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
cool.
There are some other Ready Made RC pilots that are in some actually other teams, but because they're representing other people, I guess,
You
for
guys
for that
cheat. You
specific
guys
event.
cheat. You you can just go to another team. It's like, yeah, we're just gonna fit in over there,
That's
fit in over
Ready Made
here.
RC, not all of them, but we have like one Ready Made RC guy in this team or that team.
Guys
Just make sure
cheat.
that Ready Made RC is in there.
You guys cheat. You guys cheat. Okay, so Gab, somebody wants to follow you. Where can we find you on the internet?
Right, so probably the where I'm the most active is on my Facebook page. I've got like a little blog type page, Gab707 on Facebook, and otherwise, well, my YouTube channel, Gab707 on YouTube. That's the two places where I tend to post stuff.
Okay, cool. I will definitely check that out. If you have not seen it, you should definitely go over to my channel and check out Gab's race on the Mega Drone X. It's a really fun race to watch. And you also have on your channel all 8 pilot mix. How long did it take you to actually do that? Because it
Oh,
takes
that
a
took
long
me a
time.
while.
I know.
Joe sent that over at some point. I was nagging him, so can I get the DVRs or can you? Because just for there was actually an issue with the I guess the timing system on that very one. Is the problem is the infrared sensors are on the side, and I was flying through the main gate like on an angle straight down, and so basically the timing gate missed me, and I guess I was too slow to ask for a review, and well,
Yeah, it
racing
happens.
happens. That was that. But I wanted to know where I actually finished. So I was just nagging Joe, just send me this footage. Just send me this footage. And then once he sent it to me, I probably worked 2 3 days on it, but I spent a lot of hours on that because I wanted to know what was my actual ranking at the end. I didn't know, and that was like 1 month after the race. I still didn't know where I finished. So so I had to sit down and synchronize all the feeds and everything and see everybody. That's why I made the video at the end because had already put so much work into getting this ordering done. So I thought I'd do a video.
Hey, you know
But
what? I understand because like it took me a few days just to do like my video edit, and I wasn't even worried about syncing up everybody's feeds. And I was like, it's like because like this is like that race was one of the few races where like the top four were really close together, and there was actually a lot of like what is it no longer new was actually he got lucky. He didn't actually get caught up in the mess, so he just kind of pulled away. But like second through fourth was really competitive. It was
yeah,
like you guys were just changing all over the place, and at the end I was like, forget it. I don't really care who actually came in. I just need to do
I
this
spent a
video
lot of
edit and
time.
go. And I was like, Gab actually did the edit and actually showed who actually finished second, third, and fourth, I believe. And it
Yeah.
was actually a good one. And like some of the other guys' videos were just like they just were totally messed up. I don't understand how like some of them actually finished because their
Yeah.
DVR footage was terrible. It's like I can't see anything. I'm not gonna even try to do that.
Sometimes the DVR doesn't always pay respect to what you see in the goggles. I don't honestly I don't understand all the technicalities of Joe Scully's setup when he has all the different mixers and like his DVR, how he gets everything to the DVR. But sometimes it's not as nice. So
Yeah, because like I was actually just because I'm a nerd, I actually was curious to check out everybody else's, and I was I was actually Jordan crashed out, but I wanted to see Jordan's as well, and I also wanted to see Brain Drains, and like theirs was just unwatchable. It's like I hope they didn't actually try to fly through that because there's no way.
but it was actually a tough race. Like going behind the pillars was one of the big issues. Like you got to the back there and it just would completely garble out, and then it actually had to change my racing line because of that. Before at the beginning, I actually like took the back turn. I took it really close to the pillar,
Yeah.
and the problem is you'd get around it, and then you'd try to line up on the next gate. But the problem is you'd be behind the other pillar again. So
Oh, so
while
you'd
you were
get no
trying to sync
video.
up on the gate, you'd hit the other pillar and you just go black. So I ended up crashing, my first two runs because of that.
Yep.
Until I decided, okay, I'm just gonna go wide. So I went around the corner, just go wide, good video, line up the gate, and then just go straight for it. And then it would garble out just before you hit the gate. That's fine, I guess. So once I'm done with it, it's okay. Once I know where it is.
Yeah, believe it or not, Brain Drain and I talked about the exact same thing. I don't have it on video or audio
Oh
anywhere,
wow.
but he actually had the same problem and he was annoyed by it, and he actually had to do the same thing because like he was like saying that man those blackouts suck, and I was like, it's like
Yeah.
yeah, I was like, I'm like, well, what can I do? It's a pillar. You're not gonna move that thing.
Yeah, there's nothing we can do for now. I mean, maybe in 1 year we'll have fancy equipment where we can do repeaters. I was wondering, like, why is nobody coming up with a repeater? How hard can it be? But I think it introduces latency, and I'm not sure how long that is.
Yeah,
That's a side thought.
actually, I know DRL actually uses repeaters, but I think their stuff is proprietary and they're not selling their
Yeah,
technology, so
yeah,
or
because
something
they
like
go
that.
through crazy things, right? They go inside, in the back.
Yeah, because like you and I both know like 5'8", no, that doesn't allow for that.
Yeah,
So yeah, so they have their own crazy technology. They just don't want to share. But that's how it goes.
maybe one day they'll sell it
Maybe
and
one
be
day.
rich.
There we go. Dude, they have a lot of money. So I'm just saying.
They already have, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. It was great catching up with you. Thank you for your time and enjoy your vacation. And when you get back to Canada and it's cold again, you'll remember how nice Switzerland was.
Well, thanks so much, Wyatt, for having me, and yeah, I'll get all beautiful videos of flying in the mountains here out. It's gonna be on my YouTube channel. Yeah,
Okay.
that's
All
gonna
right.
be something to look out for.
Okay. I will look forward to that, and so will Elvin because I'll tell him about it. Okay, man.
All right,
Thank you for your
thanks a
time,
lot.
dude.